LCARA Ham Radio presents a Time Machine Tuesday vintage video release.
Welcome to Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association. You can find us at LCARA.net, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. If you're enjoying the videos we're producing here at LCARA, please help our club out by hitting that subscribe button. Also, give us some feedback on our videos. Click the like button, share with anybody who may find it interesting, and be sure to hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified of the next video release. Yeah, hello folks, this is Chris, KY4CKP, and today we wanted to bring you just kind of a catch-up video on some of the ongoing work for the emergency communications trailer. And we start out here by just showing some of the work we've done in the past 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. We've been redesigning and reapplying some external antenna mounts to the front and the rear of the trailer. We'll be seeing the rear in a little bit. We had some of these on before, but we've been doing some work on the trailer and wanted to get these back on and at the same time keep them out of the way of the load balancing hitch that we use for the trailer. So we found some unistrut there at headquarters and just kind of measured up and cut some pieces so that we can mount tubular style masts. We have some triangular style nested extensible masts. Here's some work on the back. I believe that was 1.5 inch unistrut that we found mounted on both sides of the rear and a couple up in the front. So whatever kind of deployment we may do when we roll up in the field, we're going to have positions we can put up multiple masts, whether it's HF, UHF, VHF, or whatever we need to do. So again, just showing some of the work we were putting up the mast. A piece of equipment that we had available to us was a Tar Heel, a nice Tar Heel antenna, and as we'll see, we can mount that using these mounting systems that we created from the front or the rear. And we created a pole to put that on, and we're going to create some blocks we can set the pole into, so even if we're on soft ground, the pole doesn't just dig into the ground. And we also have, of course, the controller for the Tar Heel, screwdriver type antenna, and we've got that put in place. We've created a bracket for that, mounted the bracket near the panel PC that we have in one of the main stations there in the trailer, and also did some testing with that. We'll see in a little bit. But we got the little bracket fabricated and painted up, and we have that put in place. So we can mount the Tar Heel front or rear, depending on our needs and what's going on. The cool thing about the Tar Heel, of course, is it can tune, I think anything from, 10 meters to 160 meters, maybe down to 6 meters. And you don't need a big footprint. You don't have to have a bunch of guidelines. You don't have to have a bunch of radials or anything like that. So let's take a quick listen here.
From any particular location. This is the EmComm amateur traffic net. We'll start off with any stations, any emergency medical or fire traffic on now.
All right, and here we can see we're using Little Red, the tractor, to just push the trailer out the back of the barn so we could get that antenna up there. Again, just using a temporary wood block at the bottom, but we're going to create something that we can use full time for this purpose. Again, anytime we might be deployed on soft ground. So we got that Tar Heel up there, and of course we did put the Stinger up on top of it. And as you heard, and made several, I had several connections and so forth when we were testing it that day, even though it wasn't really in the best location in between all these buildings and everything. And this is just kind of showing through the controller the procedure to park the antenna down to its lowest level, either for transport or potentially for storage, which is typically what we would do with it. So a very simple little procedure to park it down to its shortest extension. The other thing we have in the trailer, if we need it, is an FTM 400, Yaesu VHF, UHF, which can do crossband. And here you can see we've got it in crossband mode, and we were doing some testing with a very simple mag mount antenna that we can put right up on top of the trailer. But we could also have a taller antenna if we needed a Comet 1 or something like that. We could put that up just depending on what kind of coverage area we might need, and we can have walkie-talkies around our deployment site and get a better ability to reach a repeater. One of the other little projects we've worked on was this little array of LEDs so that we can have some light. So basically when we first would walk into the trailer, we've got this little motion sensor. We fabricated a bracket and painted that, got that mounted, and got it hooked in line so that we first walk into the trailer, this light's going to pop on. And so even if it's fairly dark, you would immediately have a little bit of light just about as soon as you open the door and start to enter. And then you could go in and start turning on the main switches and things to get the main lights, whatever you might need available to you for that. So that's a simple little project, but it's just kind of a quality of life type of thing, and it works very well. Again, just about as soon as you open the door and certainly take that about a half of a step, it senses that and will kick right on and give you a little bit of light to work on. Make sure you're not bumping around into things. Now, in some of these next photos here, we'll see we also did some more electrical work in the trailer. So we prepared some conduit and measured and drilled some holes for mounting. Ran some additional conduit in the trailer. We're still kind of fleshing out additional switches and things like that that we either need right now or to give us some future capacity later. So this was again one of the times we've worked on the trailer, putting in some additional wiring and trying to do a nice, neat, clean job of it. You know, using heat shrink tubing, using the conduit to not only make the job neater, but really safer and more secure to keep wires out of the way and that kind of stuff. So we did that. We added some additional conduit, put in some switches over by this little power distribution point on one of our stations, and we've also added a 4-gang switch over in the rack, which is on the other side of the trailer. Here you can see the yellow arrow pointing to the additional 4-gang switches there. And so we've got plenty of expansion room to add in for that kind of stuff. And we're also going to be continuing work on the trailer. So we just wanted to bring a few of these things to light, just show the ongoing work of the trailer. And as we continue to do more work, we're going to get some pretty snazzy graphics put on the side of the trailer here before too long. And we're going to be hitting an event a little bit later in the summer nights cruise event, kind of a big and pretty cool car show. So that's pretty much it for now. We just wanted to catch people up. This is Chris, KY4CKP, for Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association 73.